Hey there storytellers, welcome back to my channel. Today's video, as you can tell from the title down below, is going to be all of the books that I finished in the month of February. Overall, I did a lot of books that had at least an element of fantasy to them, so that was my main sort of genre, but I have started a contemporary and I did do a historical fiction. Overall, in February, I finished 6 books. There are 2 I have started and I'm hoping to finish in the next few days. As of filming, there's still a few days left in February, so I should be able to get through at least one of them because I'm doing it on audiobook. But anyway, without any further ado, let's get into the books I finished. Going in no particular order, the first book I finished in February was City of Bones by Cassandra Clare. This is the first book in the Mortal Instruments series, and I feel like most people on BookTube have come across this series already. They're familiar with it, but it follows a girl named Clare Frey who believes she is just your normal, average, everyday girl, and one day her life gets totally upended by the supernatural, this world of demons and vampires and Nephilim. Craziness ensues and she gets caught up in it. I have started the Shadowhunters TV show and I've seen City of Bones, the movie. I did finish the book before I watched the movie and I really enjoy this. I'm definitely ready to keep going with the rest of the series. I did do the Infernal Devices, so I'm not totally new to the Shadowhunter world, but I know this is the main sort of series that kicked off all of the spin-off Shadowhunter content, so I'm definitely ready to get to City of Ashes, which actually I have started. The next book I finished in February was Thirsty Mermaids by Leyh. This is a graphic novel following 3 mermaids who decide to become human for the night because they're drunk on shipwreck wine and they don't want to stop drinking, so they decide to grow some legs and go on land to continue getting drunk. And some wackiness ensues. Basically, they get trapped in their human forms because they never learned how to undo the spell that makes them human to begin with, and they sort of have to learn to adjust to human life. And what really struck me was how emotional this book actually is. When I first picked it up, I thought it was just going to be something silly, mermaids getting drunk, you know, just a fun time, and it actually has a really serious moment where it touches on some mental health issues and concerns, and I was surprised to see it, but in a pleasant way. And I thought it was executed really well considering it was a graphic novel and it comes up towards the end of the story, so there wasn't a lot of time to deal with it, but it was handled nicely and I like this one. The next book I got to in February was a reread, another one, of Carry On by Rainbow Rowell. I've talked about this book several times on my channel. It follows Simon Snow, who is the chosen one in the world of mages. He is the hero to save the day, and his roommate Baz is sort of his arch nemesis, and they end up having to become reluctant allies to take down the insidious humdrum, among other things, and it's a fun time. I actually did a reread recently. I think I talked about it in December or something like that, and I decided to pick it up again because one of my friends did read it for the first time and I wanted to read it along with her, do a little buddy read session. So I love this book. That's all there is to say. The next book I had tackled in February was another graphic novel called Nimona by Noelle Stevenson. This follows Nimona, who is a shapeshifter with a penchant for villainy, and Lord Ballister Blackheart, who is a villain, and he is set out to sort of seek revenge against Sir Ambrosius Goldenloin and the institution of law enforcement and heroics. I really like that this novel sort of flips the villain and hero tropes around a little bit. You know, it plays with what if the bad guys are actually better than you think they are, and what if the bad guys are a little bit more nefarious. It's a fun time. I really enjoy it. I actually wanted more, and I don't mean that things were wrapped up poorly. I just meant I was enjoying it so much that I could have kept reading. This was another novel that had some surprising mental health notes tossed in. It wasn't a main plot point, but it was there, and also some queer rep, so right on for the graphic novels, sneaking in just some good old representation up in there along some fun storylines. But this is one I'd highly recommend. Like I said, I didn't want it to end. I should note that all of the books I just talked about, I gave 5 stars. I really enjoyed them. But anyway, moving on. The next book I finished in February was another graphic novel. I was feeling them this month, and it is called Brightly Woven by Alexandra Bracken. This follows a girl named Sidel, who is her town's most prestigious weaver, as she gets whisked off on an adventure one day by a wizard named Waylon North. And basically he seeks her out for her weaving ability to mend his magic cloaks, but also he believes she is the key to helping stop a war that is brewing between kingdoms. He thinks she might be a tool, an asset to help prevent that. This one I gave 4 stars. I did really enjoy it, but I do think I would have enjoyed its original novel format, traditional novel format, I should say, a little bit more, only because I felt like the description of Sidel's ability to weave and what her sort of special skills are as a character would benefit from more description, which you can't really have in a graphic novel. You're relying more on images than words, so that is my only sort of qualm with it, is I would have liked to see the magic system described in full a little bit more than you get in a graphic novel, but it was still really good. And the last novel I fully finished in February was The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Now, I am really not one for historical fiction. It's not my genre at all, but I really have enjoyed Taylor Jenkins Reid's fictional celebrity biographies, if that makes sense. Because Evelyn Hugo is a Hollywood starlet. She's in her aging years, and she gets interviewed by an up-and-coming reporter named Monique, who she specifically selects to interview her. She will not give her exclusive life story to anyone else, and the reason why is one that Evelyn is kind of one of those characters that you don't like. Like, she does questionable things the entire time you get her story, but you still really enjoy her. And Monique was a fun character as well, although I didn't like her as much, but it's not her story really, it's Evelyn's. Like I said, the twist in why Evelyn specifically picked Monique was really cool, really well done. I did not see it coming. I listened to this on audiobook. I highly recommend, because it is split in narration between one narrator doing Evelyn's sort of backstory as she's telling it, and another narrator sort of narrating Monique's part in the present day, if you will. But I read Daisy Jones and the Six last year. It's another sort of fictional celebrity interview, and this came before it. This one's phenomenal. I think I like it a little bit more than Daisy Jones and the Six, if I'm being honest, but I do like me a sort of gray area character like Evelyn Hugo. Mary from the editing chair here to say that I totally forgot to mention that Evelyn Hugo has major queer representation. Evelyn herself is a bisexual character, and at the time that her story is set in, it's not an acceptable thing in society. So Evelyn has to deal with being a bisexual person at a time when it's not publicly acceptable, and to see that represented in a book and to feel the raw emotions and the sneaking around that she has to do to deal with that I thought it was executed phenomenally. So that was it for the main 6 that I finished in February. The 2 that I am currently reading and hoping to finish are City of Ashes by Cassandra Clare. This obviously follows Clary in her continuing Shadowhunter adventures. I am doing them on audiobook, even though I own the physical copies. I am enjoying the audiobooks a lot, even though the narrator switches for City of Ashes, which is minorly annoying. It's not a huge deal, but it was something that I did notice. I am only like 10% into this one, but I do have time to listen to it on Saturday, so I'm hoping that I get through more of it. Perhaps I can finish by Sunday, we'll see. I tend to be really fast on audiobooks, so I think I'm going to enjoy this one, although my friend has warned me that this is her least favorite of Mortal Instruments series, so we'll see. I'll have to form my own opinions. And last but not least, the last book that I am currently trying to finish in February is I Want to Be Where You Are by Kristina Forrest. This follows a girl named Chloe who sets off on a road trip with her neighbor Eli to get to a dance audition. She is sneaking around behind her mother's back. Her mother has already forbidden her from making this dance audition when it's in her hometown or near her hometown, so she's concocted this plan to go out of town while her mother's away to go to an audition, and basically I think she's just going to keep missing them as she keeps like traveling down to new auditions. is the vibe I'm getting. I've already started this one and she's already missed one audition, so I think that's how this is gonna go. I think there's gonna be many, many forks in the road for Chloe. It just seems like a really heartwarming contemporary, sort of a coming of age novel about finding your voice and finding what you want and being brave enough to pursue it. And I do really enjoy those kinds of stories, so I'm hoping to finish this one in February as well. But that is it for this video. If you enjoyed it, let me know by leaving a like down below. And if you have read any of these books, I'm curious to know your thoughts on them. I always love a different opinion, but for now, I'm going to get going. If you want to keep up with me and all of my bookish adventures, you can go ahead and click the subscribe button, and I highly recommend that you ring the little bell so that you don't miss a beat. I post videos every Friday, and I will see you on the next one. Bye!